Welcome to day 2 of the spiritual challenge. I am so excited. I feel like so many of you are getting something out of this. You're learning. And if you just take away one thing each day, it's like so incredibly phenomenal, right? So look at this. I learned how to put this up there. Isn't that kind of cool? Like, I love it. Okay. So let me see. Okay, I think it's gonna take a minute for everyone to get in. I feel okay. The energy yesterday, I think, was so awesome, and much of the time too, I was channeling, and how I could really tell that I was channeling. And channeling just means, you know what I mean. I am channeling like from spirit, and they are putting the information into my head, which is another reason why that I was probably been talking faster, but what was so cool about it is that anytime that I went off on a little tangent, like they always brought me back. And that's one way I was like, oh my gosh, energy is so cool. Spirit is right here getting us all together, you know? Yes, game time, Lisa. Yes. Oh my gosh. And everyone's having so much fun with the bingo, by the way. So the bingo is supposed, like, I'm not giving any prizes until the end, but so many of you have already gotten a bingo. So just keep on going with it. See if you can get the whole card and that kind of stuff. So it's going to be so much fun. Hi, Danette. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Darlene. Oh my gosh. So, and like, I was looking at y'all's homework, almost like a real teacher, like we're in school, you know? Oh my gosh. So we got to talk about that. Yes. We've got to talk about like the homework too. And then today, giving away a free reading. I was going to give away a healing. Let me know what your thoughts about that, because then Spirit was like, no, give away two scholarships to the course. So, and because the thing is like, if you guys like this, you know, I mean, the course is like so much more, you know, so apparently everyone needs that a little bit more. So that's what we're giving away today. And then tomorrow, and then tomorrow is probably going to be the same thing. Thursday is also going to be an Amazon gift card, a card deck, a reading as well, another scholarship. And on Friday, another scholarship, Amazon gift card, and another card deck. Okay. Oh, the homework is not coming to your email? Okay. No problem. No problem. Let me do this. We interrupted. And you definitely want to get on the email if you're not, because then you'll get prizes. Just, you know what I mean? You'll be in the run for other prizes. So like today I'm giving away something else, and it's only for the people that are on the email list, right? So I think that the registration's closed, but you can just send me your email. And so if you can, Darlene, just make sure that I have the right email address for you. So if you can message that to me, that'd be awesome. Then I'll make sure I'll put you on it, and I'll give you the other email from yesterday too. And by the way, just so that you guys know, is the email that's signing up now, it got changed, right? So I'm still on heatherdanielmedium@gmail, right? But the new email that I'm using, right? But I still look at all of them. But the thing is, you just might not have it in your contacts, if you will. It's info@therealheatherdanielle.com. So it's coming from this email now. I switched over. You can still email me wherever you want, but if you're looking in your inbox, it might go to a different place because it's a new email address. Does that make sense? Okay, because I know even in my emails, I subscribe to my own newsletters, you know, because I like my own newsletters. So, yes. How everyone was alone on YouTube. Everyone was alone? Yeah, like you guys couldn't see the comments on YouTube. I'm not really big on YouTube, but it's like I know some people don't have Facebook, so that's the reason why that I stream on YouTube, right? So how do I get an email? I think you already have mine. Yes. If you didn't, just send me. So if you didn't, then just send me another message with your email address. I think I have yours, Nancy, but just to make sure, and then I keep track, because then after this, I'll go through and I'll just make sure, like I'll send it myself. I will put bells and whistles on it. You know what I mean? That kind of thing, so that you get it. Okay. So definitely do that. So today, near the end, we're going to pull the winners for this, but then the email one is going to be separate, right? So if you're on, it's like the email VIP list, right? Because the thing is that when you register and you take that extra step, you're saying, okay, I'm a little more serious about this. You know what I mean? And, you know, I want this to mean a little bit more. You're taking an extra step, you know? So that's what's going to be up with that. So if I had my email before this morning, it's already working. You should have already gotten emails already because you would have gotten the reminder emails too. So if you haven't gotten an email today about, oh, the challenge starts in an hour and that kind of stuff, then send me your email so I make sure that you're on it. And make sure you check your spam promotion folders and stuff like that. So especially because it's coming from a new email address. Okay. And then I thought that I seen something else here. Wait. Did someone say poltergeisted? Oh, I had pre-registered. Okay, I'll make sure that you were on there. I'll message you if you didn't get it, Darlene. Because yesterday, Mercury retrograde, man. Mercury retrograde is messing up with my technology. Now you can't even go to the Rise into Power website. It's crazy. And then Lisa's talking about the classes live. So for the course, I'm going to talk about this a little bit, but for the course itself, one will be uploaded on Wednesdays. Okay. And then the following Monday is when we'll have our group coaching call. So that's when we talk about what you learned in the module on Wednesday, if you have any questions. And then a lot of times what I want to do is get you all into groups and you guys can talk and things like that. Right. And I want to go over the homework and then I'll talk more about that. And then we'll go into the trusting spirit. Trust what you are getting, because that's going to be our theme for today, if that makes sense. I know I've seen poltergeist somewhere on the comments. It's so crazy. And Tara's getting them. Thank you. I couldn't see in my comments on Facebook yesterday, but I think you can today, right? Because I think that was a glitch with Facebook. Okay. And you'll check after this. Okay. And there's okay, sweet. Okay, so look at this. I got my what is it called? My sound working today. But we'll talk more about that in a second. But yeah, I want to go over the homework because, oh my gosh, you guys did such a good job. And there was so many good takeaways from it and really insightful messages with the 5 questions that you had to answer, right? And I wanted to talk with them a little bit, right? Because the first one was like, ask your friend how you take advice, right? Because we're talking about that receiving yesterday. Remember, the more that you're able to receive messages from spirit, and you're going to receive those messages in your own personal way, right? So just like how you would a friend. So a couple of them is like, one person said the details, right? When her friend gives her and provides her details. So it's like, just think about that. If you were getting advice from a friend and you want the details, you want the little nitty gritty stuff, right? That's probably a way that your spirit guide or spirit in general is communicating with you, is in the details and the little things that you're going to have to look a little bit harder to see, right? It might be that way, not all the time, but you have to understand that it's going to be your personal communication. So it might be like the numbers, or like when you get a receipt and it's the total, or it's the table that you're sitting at. Like, how many times I've been sitting at table 316 and I'm like, yes, or I'm at table 59 and I'm like, yes, that's my mama, right? So you might have to look for them a little more because you respond better with details, right? Yes, Tressa, you made it. Yes. Okay. So one person's like, oh, if they give me examples, right? So if they give you examples, so if you're talking with your friend and she's giving you like ideas and examples and she's going through this, like that really helps out with your imagination, gets that running. So you would probably be better if you like that kind of thing with like coincidences and things coming together, you know what I mean? A little bit of like a storytelling, so you're going to be one of them that's more like, kind of like how I am, right? And that is, I put 2 and 2 together. So it's like, oh yes, I seen that message from my grandma. It's number 83. And then I see this, and then I know it's my grandma, right? So for example, the other day I was at the gym, seen a license plate, and it said 83 on it, literally ER space 83. And I was like, oh my God, grandma. But then I couldn't figure out why she was contacting me, right? So I came home and I still couldn't. I'm like, man, I don't think she's just saying that she's with me. My loved ones do not contact me, just say they're with me. Very rarely ever do they do that, right? And then as soon as I got home and I went to go on the computer, bam, it said June 2nd, which was her birthday. And I'm like, oh my God, you know what I mean? And then it was also my son's graduation. So you see how it told a story? It's like grandma's with you, 83, but there's still more that you have to put together. Okay, and you guys need details? Yes. And going back, because I know there's a lag, with details too, a lot of times it has to do with a more logical person and a person that might also have a little bit of trouble trusting sometimes, right? So we're going to talk about trust today, so that might help too, right? So if it's like, oh yeah, someone said just in general conversation, right? So just when they give you advice, when it's general, when it's not warranted and that kind of stuff, right? That is going to be like during conversations like with people, literally, right? So when you're talking to someone and they keep on bringing up, for instance, Heather, right? I love her to death. You know what I mean? She's one of my students and she wasn't sure if she should do the one-on-one coaching with me. And so she was debating about this. I don't know if she asked for a sign or not, right? But she was at her job and then sure enough, it was like, what was it? She answered the phone and they're like, hi, this is Heather. She's like, hi, is this Heather? And she's like, no, my name's not Heather. And then she was like, why did you call me Heather? And the girl's like, I have no idea why I called you Heather. And her name has nothing to do with Heather. And it was really funny because then she got another sign about like a license plate and she messaged me it. And she was like, yes, I totally have to work with you. And it's been awesome working with her. But do you see how that went? That was a general conversation. And another one that was really awesome was my son's girlfriend's pet died. And I was trying to connect to this lizard, right? And I couldn't get the name, right? But it sounded like an in at the end, an in, right? And my son was like, hey, mom, I'd really be impressed if you could get the name. And I'm like, oh, no pressure, right? But he was like, you got the in part. Right. And I'm like, all right. So I was like, how about this? And I looked at him and I was like, okay, Spirit is listening right now to me. And I say, okay, I want the name of this lizard to be brought to me somehow in some form or fashion by Saturday night. Right. And it was, I think it was like Wednesday or something like that. So I give him 3 days. Right. So no joke. We go to my Aunt Judy's, memorial, right? Her celebration of life. By the time Saturday comes and goes and Sunday comes in, I have no idea. I didn't get it, right? But my son was like, no, they did say it. They said it at Aunt Judy's memorial. And I'm like, they did? And he was like, yes, I heard it over and over and over again. They were repeating the name of this lizard. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is so cool. The name of the lizard was Satan. So the in part, right? I got right. And I guess when we were, having our day, someone kept on talking about Satan and they were like, Satan, 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 Satan. And I was just too lost in my thoughts. And I was like, blah, 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 all the way over here and not paying attention that I didn't see the sign in front of me, right? But my son did. And I know that was a journey for him. And it was a sign for him because he probably trusts in spirit more now. He trusts in the crap, right, that I do because that happened. And then he noticed it. So they can talk through you through those general conversations if that's something that, resonates with you. And it's a way that you take information, right? I'm gonna look at this. It takes a minute for me to realize what's going on. I smell my grandpa. I'm like, huh? Then after a bit, I finally catch on. Yes. And the more and more you practice and you do it, then the faster you're going to catch on, right? When mom sends a warning, it almost takes a 2x4 for me to get it. Yes. Right. And in the course, we kind of go over a little bit more in detail about the spirit that you're trying to connect to, right? Because the different kinds of spirits that you're connecting to, like past loved ones, some of them are going to be more quiet. So it's going to change the way they give signs. Some of them are a little more like, yeah. And so they're going to be a little bit more like crazy with their signs, right? Yeah. Okay. And the obvious details too. Sometimes the most obvious signs are the ones like you don't see or you don't believe, right? It's so crazy, right? And then, yes. Okay. And then receiving, right? So we need to talk a little bit more about receiving, right? Someone has mentioned too, that the receiving is easier for them if it's a need over a want, right? Like, oh, I need this so I can receive it. But if I just want something, then that's a whole different ball game, right? And that can block your spirit communication too, because it's like, well, do I really need to hear from them? I'm not going through a catastrophe right now. You know what I mean? Like, oh my gosh, my life is semi-okay, right? So you might be pushing off that spirit communication because you might feel like you don't need it right now, or it's not imperative, or, you know what I mean? You're not at, like, I don't need it. Go ahead. Archangel Michael, help someone else, or spirit guide, you can help someone else. It's okay. You can go over here, right? So that might be blocking you, right? Yes, exactly, Jay. I didn't want to say that was you, right? And so, but I told you I was going to talk about this today too, because a lot of people have that even in general, but then it bleeds over to your spirit communication, right? So it's a need over a want, and a need or a want is a lack mentality. There's lacking somewhere with that frame of mind and thinking, right? Because then it's like, I either don't feel like the universe has enough to give, like they don't have enough time or money to give me, or not money for everyone to have, you know what I mean? I only need to have this much, for whatever reason, like I only deserve this much, or if I have this much, that means that other people go without. And so it comes from you thinking that the universe lacks in abundance. The universe lacks in everything that everyone could possibly need or want, right? Like you might think that money is limited, but it's not. You might think that time is limited, but it's not, So it comes from that, from the lack of the universe, or it comes from the lack of yourself, something that you're lacking within yourself. Like you don't feel worthy, you don't feel good enough, you know what I mean? And I know it sounds kind of crazy because it's like, wait a second, but aren't I selfless if I let other people have more? But it's no, because then you're doubting spirit, and it's doubting that spirit can provide for them and provide for you. Does that make sense? So that spirit can provide, God can provide, the universe, the creator can provide for you and for them, right? You can do both. You guys can both have whatever you want, right? And so just thinking that you only deserve or need, or, it's like pushing you down a little bit. And that might be hurting your spirit communication. Okay. Isn't that cool? And the thing is, like, I didn't come on like expecting to say all that. Like, that's totally coming from spirit. And I sat in my sunroom today and I'm already getting hot. I'm glad I wore a tank top. Okay. But now I think we're going to go into just like what we want to talk today with trusting, because it kind of goes into it as well, right? So trust. Okay. Sorry. I had some notes because I want to make sure that, just in case spirit didn't come back today. Right. Okay. Sorry, I wanted to see where, like, these are my notes. You see how organized they are, right? Oh, hey, Virginia. Hey, I'm so happy you're on here, right? Okay. So trust. I absolutely love this, right? Because once you learn to trust in spirit, your whole life will change, right? And it takes a while too. It was so I'm going to say something. Okay. Oh, but it was really what Rachel said. Yes, there's enough abundance energy and all the things go around. Bam, bam. And then once you start trusting in it, right, then you'll actually see it, right? It's almost like a believing before seeing kind of thing, right? Almost like with the law of attraction, Okay. So I was looking at this and I was trying to figure out, right, when did I truly trust in spirit? Like I trusted, and then the trust got so strong to like now I do readings, and if they say that I'm wrong and I'm not right and that kind of thing, right? Number one, it doesn't hurt my feelings at all anymore. Like it used to, like a while ago, used to be like, oh no, I'm wrong. Ah, you know what I mean? But it's not, because it's not about being right or wrong. It's about, being true to spirit, being true to what you're getting, and making sure that you stay in your integrity with the other person and doing the best that you can. Remember, we're all human, so we're going to make mistakes, But now I trust so much in spirit and what they're giving me that I don't care if someone says no, and I'll go back in and I'll be like, no, I'm sorry. This is what they say. You know what I mean? For some reason, they're having me tell you this, and sometimes later on, they'll come back and they'll tell me, they'll be like, oh yes, that makes sense now. Or I didn't realize this, or I didn't realize that. That's awesome when that happens. But wait, guess how many readings it approximately took for me to get to that 100,000% trust in spirit. I just thought it was really funny. I want to see what you guys thought, right? Yeah, until I 1,000% believed in everything that I get, to where now I have unwavering faith that if something comes to me in a reading, it's coming to me for a reason. How many do you think? I want to see some numbers, because I was kind of surprised. Hopefully I can still see you guys' comments. Okay. 5, Danette. Really? 20? This is cool. I love this. 100. Oh, this is so good. 500. Okay. So now I do have to tell you, I have trust issues. I have trust issues, right? Think about my past. You know what I mean? If you had a rough past, it's going to, and you had your heart broken and you have trust issues, and you're going to have trust issues. 20. I love this. Okay. So far, I'm not sure who said 500 because I can't see your name, but that's going to be the closest. But it was literally, it would have to be over 1,000. There we go. Danette got it. Bam! Yes, over 1,000. I would have to say, 1,000. Now, over 1,000. You know what I mean? Before I got to the point where it's like, I know I did my best and I leave and I'm okay. Right? So just think about that. That's how much trust to do the readings that I do now, where it's like 100%. That's it. You know what I mean? I'm doing my best. Now, did I do readings where I'm like, okay, I'm going to trust you. I'm still going to do it. I'm still going to be confident. You know what I mean? That might have been still probably over 500 because I have trust issues, right? Lots and lots, but you got there. Yeah. See, exactly, right? So the way that I look at it is kind of think about this to yourself, right? Where are you at right now in terms of trusting spirit? Where are you at in your relationship with spirit, right? And I know a couple of you guys already heard me talk about this, but I really want you guys to think about it, right? So how much do you trust spirit? Where are you at in your relationship? Are you, right? I'm going to give you some options, right? Do you just kind of know spirit? Like, you know, it's out there, or God, and or whatever you want to call it, creator, the universe, but you don't really know them very well. Like, you might talk to them like on and off, like you're kind of like an acquaintance. You know what I mean? Like, are you a complete stranger? Are you an acquaintance? Like, we kind of know them. Right? Are you kind of like a friend? Like, hey, like we talk most days, some days, you know what I mean? Not my BFF yet, you know, once a week or something. Like, I know a little bit about them and how it works or how I believe it works. You know, are you like casually dating? Like, oh yeah, we do full moon rituals together, you know, or, you know, I do Heather's coffee and cards once a week. Or are you like seriously dating? Like, oh my gosh, like I totally know spirit. Like, we are dating, we are good, you know, like I would fall into their arms, they got me, right? Or are you like married to spirit? And then how long have you been married to spirit? Like, are you married like 20 years, 50 years, you know what I mean? To where you have trust that you know that no matter what, they have your back, right? Danette, are you married to spirit? And Shauna, are you guys married to spirit to where you guys have unwavering faith? Like, you got them. Casually dating. Yes. And so that's what happened, is that like, I feel like I married spirit and then I kept on going. And now I've been married to him for like 20 years, you know? My guy, I talk to my, well, the guy, talk out loud to my guide every day throughout the day, especially in the shower. We're tight. In my head, we are. Yes. Married for a couple of years. I love it. Acquaintance too friendly. It's complicated. That's the best one, Rachel. Acquaintance. I know they're there. I need to trust more. Yes. Spirit comes to me at the strangest times. My dentist grandfather came through while I was in his chair. I remember that. Is that you that told me that story? Because if not, it happened to someone else. Yeah, it had to be you, Tamara. I can't control it when it happens. Yes, it's harnessing it, right? So that's another thing that hopefully this week too, I'll help you do, is harness it. Okay. I talk to them all day in my head and out loud. Yes, Shauna, you're so married. You're so married to them, right? But for those of who have trouble trusting in what they're getting, it's also trusting in spirit in general. So that's why I'm trying to go with it, you know, trusting in spirit in general. And then we'll talk about when you actually connect and actually want that information, that insight. Okay. Feels like I've been chasing spirit to date, but that spirit is not interested in me. Okay, we're going to help you, right? If I need help, I always ask them. 1000%. It's supposed to be like living your life in the flow of spirit communication. You know what I mean? And I'm getting back to you. Like, aggressively trying to get spirit to notice me. Okay, who is saying that? Who's saying that? You have to write your name because I can't see your name, all right? I trust spirit and what they tell me than I do most people. Yes, 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 yes. Spirit's playing hard to get. Oh my God, I freaking love this. This is so awesome. Just know spirit is trying to communicate with you, okay? You might be blocking it, and so that's the reason why we're trying to like chisel down the blocks, right? If you are blocking it, right, even subconsciously, and then we're trying to get you to notice your personal signs that spirit is giving for you, right? And by the way, Rachel, you're full of crap, right? Because Rachel dreams. I'm sorry, I'm calling you out. Rachel has dreams. Now, know that dreams, number one, are going to be clairvoyance because you are seeing, right? You are seeing your dreams, right? So that means that one of your strongest clairs is going to be seeing, and then you're going to have to look at things around you. That is one thing, right? Being more aware, right? Being more mindful, right? Also, dreams, they often come to people, and you're getting those premonition dreams. You know what I mean? And you're doing those things, and you're getting the past loved ones visit you in dreams, and then they stop, right? And why it's stopping is because dreams are a crutch. They don't want to talk to you just in your dreams. They want to talk to you throughout the day. You know what I mean? So if you had dreams that stop, that's the reason why. Is they're trying to talk to you throughout the day. Oh, Teresa. Okay, I don't know why that I can see you, sometimes I'm not, right? Sometimes I wonder where they went. Oh my gosh. But I talk with them in open mind. Yes. Okay. Because sometimes it depends on what you're going through with your life, right? So it also depends on where you are. Sometimes they're going to feel closer than others. Believe it or not, like a lot of the times when you're going through your hardest times, sometimes it's going to be harder to hear them. Obviously, you might be feeling grief, your vibration gets low and that kind of thing, right? So it can be kind of tricky. Other times, when you're doing good, you might not hear them because they're trying to like get you off their training wheel, so to speak, right? So if you're like asking for signs, you're not getting them. Sometimes you don't get signs because they want you to make the choice on your own, right? It's part of like your soul development, right? Because honestly, all signs and things like that are crutches. You know what I mean? You don't need to have them. You should just be in the flow. But a lot of us still need them, right? We feel secure when we see the signs. You know what I mean? It's external validation, right? Okay. And Rachel's like, speaking of dreams, I had one last Saturday that I found and had your wedding ring. Yes, but I don't. I'm coming and searching your house, Rachel. Oh my gosh, that is so awesome. But I don't recall when or details about it. Oh, okay. My wedding ring is still lost, right? But I'm still like, I don't know. I'm still having hope. Okay. Maybe it's me who's hard to get. Yes, there you go. There you go. I absolutely love it, right? So we have to look a little bit into like your trust with spirit, right? And then how we do that, right, is we're looking at trust within ourselves, right? And trust within our experiences, right? What have you had trust issues in your life? Have you had a broken heart? Is it easy for you to trust or is it not easy, right? It's not easy for me to trust. I always doubt everything and everyone, right? Because that's my experience. People lie. People hurt you. Those are my belief systems. People lie, people hurt you. You can't trust anyone. You have to be able to trust yourself or nobody else at all. Or if they can explain it to you good enough, then you'll freaking trust them, right? So that's what we do with spirit. We're like, oh yeah, is that really yes? Then tell me yes, right? And then it's like, okay, show me again, show me again, show me again. That's showing trust issues with spirit. It's not your fault. It's not your fault if you have trust issues with spirit. You just have to go ahead and work on that relationship a little bit, right? So if you're casually dating, then you need to like get more serious. So how can you do that? Go for a walk with spirit, right? Read a spiritual book. Do something that you're guided to learn more about your beliefs and what you think spirit is, and maybe take 5-10 minutes to meditate, right? And that's getting to know spirit. Right? I like validation that they are near. Yes. But the thing is that comes, like one-time validation, that's cool, right? That's not showing that much trust issues. But if you keep on saying it's showing more trust issues, wait a second, is that really you? I don't know. Is it? Right? I lost my wedding once. And one night I was using aluminum foil and I was putting the foil out, pop the ring. Did you find it? So yes, we keep on asking for that validation. And so it's like, okay, what kind of, looking back on your trust, like how do you trust? Like I didn't trust, so it was very hard for me to trust it. And one way that you can really trust it, right? And it's like, kind of write this down because I didn't, right? So Spirit's telling me this right now is when you ever have any kind of insight, guidance, whether it's for you or another person, write it down or say it out loud, right? So if you get a premonition or if you have any kind of insight where you were right about something, you have a feeling about something, say it out loud or write it down, because that is going to make it more like tangible and make it more real. And then you're going to notice it more. That's why I always say it's so important to have a journal to where you just write about the times that you were right, because it's going to help you not only tame your ego, right? Because when your ego starts talking and says, oh, you don't do this shit and this stuff's not real and stuff like that, you actually have proof. You know what I mean? That you're like, no, ego, see this, but it also helps you validate yourself and what you're getting from spirit. And all of a sudden you start trusting there has to be something. There has to be something else out there. And I know you have my back now. And it just keeps on rolling that you have my back. Hope this makes sense. Okay. And Danette's like, I don't trust people on earth, but I trust spirit. Yes. I always say that too. If you need a ride or die, right? Like I felt for the longest time I didn't have a ride or die, the ride or die people that would be there for you no matter what, right? Like I didn't have those, but I know I have them in spirit, right? And if you have anyone at all who is over there that loved you, that adored you or anything like that, then know that you have that. So if you don't even believe in a spirit guide, if you don't believe in angels, or if you don't believe in that, or you don't feel close to them, then call upon them. Right? And have them help you out, have them send you the signs, have them get you closer to spirit. Right? Okay. And what is a divine shower in the bingo? Go back to it. Go back to the post and go in the comments, because Rachel wrote a really, really awesome one, which is where you just, make make a sacred shower, if you will, right? I think that she talks about how she puts incense out and that kind of thing. The only thing that you have to do for a divine shower is just go in the shower and then just imagine that the water is the golden white light rushing down upon you. And you just imagine all of like the worries, the stress, any negative energy, anything that does not serve you just kind of goes down into the drain. And then you just cleanse your aura that way. You cleanse your energy. But I really like what Rachel wrote because it adds more steps to it, adds more intention, and it adds more of a self-care element to it. And it just really brings that experience fully together. But if you are running short on time or if you forget, you can just hop in the shower while you're in the shower washing your hair. And then you're like, okay, yes, you know what I mean? I'm washing my hair and it's golden light and it's healing my crown chakra. It is just open me up to receiving information. And you just do that and you just imagine it going down to the drain. Do that all the time. I think I actually shower more for that experience than actually just to shower my body. Isn't that crazy? Okay. So before I go to that, yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I was kind of looking there and I'm kind of like asking them and that kind of thing too. And it was like trust between the two. What's the experience like between the two of you? You know what I mean? Because if you're dating, you know what I mean? Have they always had your back? Yes, they have. No, they haven't. I got to get more trust, you know, that kind of thing. Right. And then it's going to go back into yourself, right? The trust that you have in yourself. And this is going to be trusting signs, signals, all that. This is all tying in, right? How much do you trust yourself? Now, the thing is, you might be like, oh, I'm the only one that I can trust. But the thing is, can you truly trust yourself? Because if you have been lied to a lot, or if you have been abused a lot, or if you have any of these things, right, then you might be lacking trust in yourself because you didn't make the right decision. You didn't, you know what I mean, do something right. Or, you know what I mean, you get what I'm saying? You did something wrong. You might feel that way about yourself, right? Because you were lied to, because you fell for it, right? So that might create trust issues in yourself. Another good way to notice if you trust yourself or not is to see how much validation that you need from other people, right? So it's like, oh, I want to do this, but maybe I should ask them, you know what I mean? And you might feel more trust in yourself in some areas than other areas, right? So just something to think about. And that's going to be part of like the homework is for you to reflect on that, right? And by the way, Rachel posted what she wrote right there in the comments too about the divine shower. Okay. Yes. Okay. And it's so funny too, because, I don't get like a whole bunch of I do get a whole bunch of crazy signs because I'm open to it. Right. And because I trust spirit, I trust myself, but it's like back in the day when so let's say, for example, you don't really have too much of a relationship with spirit. You're casually dating. They're playing hard to get. Right. I was at the worst time of my life. Right. Well, worst time of my life, I would have to say, one of the worst times of my life. There's been a lot of bad ones, right? So at this time, I didn't know what the heck I believed in. I don't know if I believed in God. I didn't believe in spirit. I didn't know about any of that stuff, right? But the thing is, I was in this abusive relationship. I was married, and the physical abuse was really bad. You know what I mean? I didn't even know I was mentally abused until I left it. And I was like, wow, I'm really effed up, right? Sorry for any kids that are around, right? So I was just so bad. And I finally, what I did was I left my class, right? Because I was in class for early childhood education and development, right? And I was in college for that. And I'll never forget, because they were talking about how domestic violence affects your child, even if they don't see it. And at the time, Mason didn't really see a lot of the physical abuse. You know what I mean? I think like once or twice, you know? And so there was like a guest speaker, right? Guest teacher. And she came and talked, and then she left, or something like that. Or she was my other teacher. She was my other teacher, right? And so I hurried up and I left class. As soon as they said that, I was like, oh my God, is my son affected? And so I ran out of the room and I ran into her office, and she was there. And, you know, we talked a little bit about my assignments, and then I had to confess to her while I was there. And I was like, hey, is it true about domestic violence affecting my son, even though he doesn't see it, right? And so we were talking about it a little bit, and she was like, you know, basically in her way, getting me to leave without telling me that I needed to leave the situation. And I remember I started crying and I said, but I have nowhere to go. Right. And she's like, you don't have family? And I was like, oh, my family lives like over an hour from me and stuff like that. But I feel like it would just be taking him into one toxic environment to the other. So I really don't have anywhere to go. And I felt like staying in the relationship was better than, you know, going to a shelter, because I've heard a lot of things about that. And so she was like, wow, she's like, this is really crazy, because this morning I miss her. She's like, this, I'm going to cry. She's like, this, because it's bringing me back to the moments. She's like, this morning, me and my husband were talking, and she has this beautiful house actually in Fenton, if you guys know where Fenton is, right? And she was like, we have a whole entire basement apartment. And this morning I told my husband, I'm like, we need to pray to God, right? And ask him that if he has anyone that could use this apartment to come to us if they need it. She was like, that was less than 12 hours ago. And here you are sitting here. She was like, I think it's a sign that you need to come stay with me. And I was like, oh my gosh. Now remember, this is the Heather that didn't know about God, spirit, or anything like that. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, this is a sign, right? And so I remember I trusted in that a little bit more. But then I was like, okay, what else do I need to do, right? And I didn't know if it was a good idea staying with her or not. I don't know, right? And I was talking to my friend, and he was like, what kind of house does she have? I'm like, I don't know. I was like, I keep on seeing a waterfall, and I want to be a place where there's a waterfall and there's a chair and I can just relax. I'll be darned if I didn't pull up to her house and there was a waterfall. And then I said to myself, oh, but there's not a chair. Who's with me on this, right? I went into the backyard and they had a larger waterfall, and there was like the chair, just like how I envisioned it. I was like, oh my gosh, right? And I got to stay in this gorgeous, beautiful house with my son for the whole summer while I saved up money for my own place, right? And it was amazing. And she wasn't my teacher during that time because we didn't want conflict of interest. So I had to move out by the time school started again, and I was taking another one of her classes, right? But I also had to file for divorce. And if you guys ever been through that, that's hard because it's like a death, right? So I went ahead and I tried filing for the divorce. At the time I was working with the YWCA, right? And they were helping me through other means to get a divorce. But the thing is, I couldn't afford anything, right? I couldn't afford to file for a divorce. And they were like, well, we can see if we could get the fee waived, right? And I don't remember how much the fee was, but I'm like, I can't afford it. They're like, drop it off at this courthouse and this and this and this, right? And I remember I dropped it off. And I was leaving the steps, and I was just like, God, and if you exist, I was like, if they approve, because I was still doubtful that I was making the right decision. I was like, if they approve this and they waive the court fee, then I'll know that I'm meant to have a divorce. And so a couple days later, I came back to see if I was approved. I had to go down to the courthouse. I had to see if my little pamphlet or whatever was put into this area. And when I seen it put into that area, I remember just a rush of emotion. And as I was walking out on the stairs, I looked up at the sky, and I remember thinking, oh my God, I have to do this. Like, my life is re-beginning. My life is restarting, right? And I remember that because it's like, wow, I trusted in something and look what happened. You know what I mean? I was guided and look what happened. You know what I mean? Now, since then, I keep on trying to trust. I kept on trying to trust, even though I kept on getting into bad situations and bad challenges, but I kept on following those signs, those lifelines. And now look, it was crazy for me back then to think that I was going to leave my husband, even though he was abusive, right? But then look what happened. You know what I mean? I had the best man in the world, right? Did the FLAT program approve your waiver for divorce? I help other women do the same situations. Bam. Tressa. I know where it is in Flint. It's on the left side of the road, and it's called something like of Southeast Michigan, like legal something of Southeast Michigan. Yeah. But isn't that so cool? And see, Tressa, it's so freaking amazing that you do that kind of work, right? And that you help other people out doing that. I remember I had to fill out everything. Like, I had to fill out all the stuff. Like, I did my own divorce. It was a do-it-yourself divorce. We'll just give you a packet, and then you have to do it, right? So I still had to be married to him. I think it was for 6 months in Michigan's law afterwards. But then look at what happened, and I trusted it. And then throughout my life, I kept on trusting in those little synchronicities and things like that. And that's the thing, is like, look back on times when you had a hard time, just like me. And then you see that there was something that stood in your way, that's something that gave you a sign that everything was going to be okay, or gave you a sign that there was something better ahead, or you were making the right decision, and build your trust off of that. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to bring you back to your abuse in your first marriage. I really didn't. I hope that you can see it from the other perspectives. Like, we got out of that. Right. And I feel like Spirit always brings things up for a reason, right? They brought this up right now so that you can maybe remember how freaking strong you are right? Where you actually have come from, you know what I mean? What you have accomplished, what you have endured, you know what I mean? Our past, we look back on it, we're like, oh shit, you know what I mean? We're like, oh my God, why did I date that guy? Oh my gosh, how could I have done this? You know what I mean? But it's like we've overcome and we've learned a lot of that. And for many of us, it's going to be showing other people not to do the same. For me, I am so passionate with helping I'm about to cry again. Oh, see, you know when there's emotion, right? I am so passionate in helping other people understand the signs, trusting themselves, trusting the intuition, trusting in their higher power, trusting in the spirit, trusting something that's bigger than themselves so they never have to be in that position ever again, help them get them out of that situation, or they can use their gifts to help out someone else that needs to get out of that situation. It might not even be that situation, but just whatever situation that they're in. Yes, and I love that. I'm so grateful for your life now. Yes, we are overcomers. Yes, yes, yes. And I love the story. That is the most rare event, the best thing that could ever happen to a woman in that situation. Yes. And it was bad. Like I would always call, remember you guys didn't have a ride or die, right? So I would call up the domestic violence hotline when I was living in Georgia. And then I just needed someone to talk to. And I also wanted on record just in case something ever happened to me, right? Like I really thought that I was going to die several times in my life. And it's so funny too, because I talked with my husband. He's like, wow. He was like, I never met someone that was almost killed so many times. And I'm like, I know. Right. Oh yeah. And so, okay, Teresa, my first husband, he was abusive and an alcoholic. And I was so frustrated. And I put my hands out and said, take it, God and angels. He got arrested. I didn't come home. Bam. You were a faster learner than me. Cause the same thing I did. I stood when my husband first got arrested one time, I stood on the thing and I looked at God and I was like, when is it going to be enough, God? When is it going to be enough? And then I kept on going back to him. I'm a much slower learner. I hope you guys are better, but way to go, Teresa. That is amazing. Yes. And I'm going to give kudos to for Teresa for opening up as well. You know, I feel like my life's an open book, y'all. You know what I mean? But I know it's harder for some people to share than others, you know? Yes. You stayed too? You stayed too? Oh my gosh. See, it takes some time, right? It takes some time to get out of that state. You know what I mean? And then when you finally get out of it, I think it's called gaslighting too. It's like, you just, oh my God, I'm so crazy. But of course I went into another domestic violence situation, but that's another story for another day, right? Oh my gosh. Okay. So I just have to tell you just really quick going on, in case someone came here not for my stories, is trust versus faith, right? So we're trying to get trust in ourselves and trust in spirit, right? Faith, you just have faith without experience. Trust is that you have evidence that they've had your back before. There is experience, right? I can trust my husband. I can trust that he's going to answer my call when I need him because he's always answered the call when I needed him, right? So that's based on experience. Faith is just kind of like a blind faith, if you will, right? That's what we're trying to get is trust. But okay, and I'm looking at this. Okay, it wasn't until he cheated on me Thanksgiving Day with my friend's 18-year-old daughter to leave. Wow. It's okay, because guess what? One of the biggest times when I left is when he went back to his wife who was on crystal meth. Okay. He left me and I ended up finding out on Thanksgiving Day. I think it was Thanksgiving. Might've been Easter. For some reason I wanted to say, no, it was Thanksgiving because right after my son's birthday, it was in November. Right. And, went back to her and I found that out on Thanksgiving Day. Crazy. Okay. So I want to go over this one thing with you. Okay. Because we're going to talk about trusting what you're getting, like from spirit, like in readings and things like that. And then also just in general, right? If you don't know how to connect with spirit, right? Let's say if you want to get some insight and that kind of thing, right? What you're going to do is loosen up a little bit, right? You're going to ask all energies to step outside of your space. And then you are going to ask your question, right? Ask what you need guidance on. And this is the tricky part. This is where yesterday stuff comes in and with the clairs come in. You have to pay attention to what you're getting once you have no other energies inside of your space, right? You know, is it my best interest to, you know what I mean, go for a walk today, right? And then all of a sudden, as soon as you close your eyes, you see trees, and you're like, oh my gosh, does that mean I need to go for a walk in the trees, right? Like in the forest? Or you'd be like, okay, I want to know if my mom's okay, and then all of a sudden, I just get this like feeling that someone's standing on my left side, right? So that's how they communicate. That's honestly plain and simple, right? But the thing is that, you know, we have to get the information quicker. Like it seems like forever. It seems like we're using our imagination. You know what I mean? It's not strong enough, which by the way, you can literally say to them, you know what I mean? Make it stronger. I want to know that you're here. But the thing is, we have to get our body in a place of accepting it. And then we have to know how we accept information, right? So if we're really big smellers, if we're really big, feelers, that kind of thing. And then are we better at sitting and meditating and getting that answer? Or I think it was you, Teresa, you said that you have to be in the right frame of mind and not with another task. I think that was you, right? And so you're going to be working probably better in that space. Or some people are more like, okay, if I'm in a task and I'm zoned out, then I can get information, right? But you just have to be more mindful with that. Okay. And so another thing too is like, I literally say, if I'm ever before readings, every single time without fail, I say that everything is coming to me for a reason. So if something comes to me in a reading, then I know 100% it's coming to me for a reason because I said so. Okay? Because I said so. I said that everything that comes into my mind is going to be relevant to this reading and for the person's highest good. And then I did write a new blog called, as far as Spirit Talk, right? Ignite Your Intuition. So if you go to my website, you can read that too. And that's going to help you out a little bit with your intuition and your ego and that kind of thing. Because I think that when it comes to trusting what you're getting in even readings or when you're trying to connect for yourself, the thing is trying to differentiate your ego from your intuition. I think that article will help out a little bit too. We're going to go more and more details with that in the course to where you'll start getting a little bit better at it. Yes. I hope this is making sense, right? It's getting hot in here too. I don't think I have a hair tie. That means Spirit's here, right? Because Spirit for me is hot. I'm waiting to see if someone has a comment or not. I'm not moving on. Okay. Actually, maybe I will because that's just how I am. Okay. I block it too. Okay. So let me do this and I'm going to show, oh yeah, we got to do the freebie stuff. And I'm going to tell you guys the homework for today. It's going to be so much fun. Okay. Okay. So I'm just going to give you the questions. Oh my gosh. And guess what else I did too? I created another fun thing. It's not the bingo, but it's a word find. So if you do that too, I'll give a prize for that as well. Right. And so, okay. So for your questions are going to be, what is your relationship like with Spirit? Right? So you guys already answered, like, oh, I'm casually dating, that kind of stuff. Go ahead and write down because you're really going to be appreciative of where you are now versus where you're going to be even in a couple months from now, a week from now, and that kind of thing, right? Are you still scared of Spirit? Because believe me, that is one thing that people are still scared. People are, they've watched too many movies or they've heard things they don't even realize it. So they're subconsciously scared of like paranormal stuff, right? And in the course, that's like basically the first thing that we try to get through, right? Is that we're going to get through any kind of fears that you have, right? Okay. So that's the first thing is, what is your relationship like with Spirit? And I'm just going to tell you a story really quick, right? I thought that I was not scared of Spirit, right? And this was 2015 or so, right? And it was so funny because I was like, I'm not scared. I'm not scared. I'm not scared. And I was reading this book and it's like, oh yeah, Spirit communicates with you through electronics. And I'm like, I know I had an incident happen in Georgia, but I'm good now. Right. So I was like, Grandma, you guys probably heard this. I was like, Grandma, if you are with me, Grandma, I was like, I want you to turn off that light. And then in that moment, bam, right. The whole room goes dark. And I was petrified. I was petrified. Have you ever been so scared in your life to where you can't even talk? Like you can't even go to the run to the door, right? That's how freaking scared I was. I was like, and I couldn't even yell for my husband. I was like, oh my God, I was literally frozen. And I was like, oh my God, I have to look at that light. I have to look at that light, right? Because if that light is truly off, I'm going to lose. I don't even know what I'm going to do. I'm going to die right here, right? But I looked up, the light was still on. And I realized that at that moment that I said that, the Nook that I was reading, because I was reading the book on my Nook, it shut off. And apparently it was the only light source in the room, right? And so I was like, oh my gosh. And that was my biggest sign, being like, I am still afraid. And I'm afraid of my grandma coming. Like, oh my gosh, it's my grandma, So, because I had to trust a little bit more. I was still scared. I was still scared of the paranormal. I was still scared that, like, if I opened up, something else bad was going to get me. You know what I mean? That it might be a demon. You know what I mean? Like, you guys have heard these things before. I know I'm not crazy, right? And then that was a wake-up call for me saying, okay, I still needed some trust there. I still needed to go down my path a little bit more because I'm scared of my grandma, right? And no, I don't feel like you should be at all. People are so scared because there's so many movies out right now, or that's what I think anyways, that just show spirit in a bad light. You know what I mean? It shows death in a bad light. It shows all nothing but demons and horrible devils and things like that, and whole evil. It's like, where are the freaking movies about the past loved ones and the guides and the spirit guides helping you out and the angels? You know what I mean? So we get kind of scared because we're like, oh, like if I see right now, like a door, when there's light underneath the door, it just reminds me of the Poltergeist, and I'm the Poltergeist movie, and I'm a little freaked out, right? And so I had to overcome that because it's something that was ingrained in me when I was a child. Like if you see light coming out from a door, then there is a demon on the other side of it. Like I don't care if you are taking a shower at night and I come up the stairs and I see the little light from the door. That's the first thing that pops in my head. Oh my God, that room is so haunted. You know what I mean? So yes. Sorry, guys, I blocked him. Okay, so that we're going to talk about that. All right, what experiences have you had trusting, right? So, and you might down some good ones too, right? Write down the times when you really trust someone and it worked out. Or you could go ahead and say, okay, experience you've had trusting spirit, right? Why do you think you're not trusting, right? So what is stopping you? You know what I mean? Are you kind of scared? Is there something there beyond? You know what I mean? Have you had an experience that you think was bad that really wasn't? And the reason why I say this is because so many people get signs and then they think they're bad. And I'm sorry, Lisa, I'm going to share this, right? Is, for example, there was someone, right? And they were like, yes, I prayed the angels would keep my son safe, and he ran out and he tripped and he like broke his leg, something really, really bad, right? Like something like that. And it's like, oh my gosh, you know what I mean? Like as soon as I prayed to the angels, that happened. Like, I don't ever want to pray to the angels again because it looked what happened. You know what I mean? This is bad, right? And it's like, no, like two things probably occurred, right? The first thing that probably occurred is his pain, his hurt, his injuries were going to be worse. But since you prayed for the angels, they weren't so bad. Or the second thing is that she intuitively picked up that something was going to happen with her son at that time. And when it did happen, it happened, right? It's because she intuitively picked up. So she prayed, that even intuitively picked up subconsciously, right? Something told her something was going to happen. So she was like, okay, I'm going to pray about it, even in the back of her mind. And, her son didn't have as bad as injuries, that kind of thing, right? When I was down in Florida, right, I was by myself in Florida doing that training, and my husband was putting up shelves in my office, and a deck of my tarot cards fell out, right? And it said, I'm sorry, but I had to leave that way. And this man blew up my phone. Like, holy crap. Like, I've just going to the bathroom. You know what I mean? You called me 50 zillion times. And he was like, oh my God, I think the spirit's saying that you're going to die because I picked up this tarot card. And I'm like, no, oh my God. I'm like, why is that the first place your mind goes, right? I was like, how come it's not one of your other past loved ones trying to reach out to you? What if it's buttons? What if it's one of your friends? Why is it the first thing you think of as a bad thing, right? I'm like, why didn't you think like, oh my gosh, who's trying to contact me from the other side? You know what I mean? Who had an unexpected death? You know what I mean? Because it's saying, I'm sorry I had to leave that way. Or it's my time to go, one of those things, right? So it's probably someone who you probably were shocked that passed away, right? So I just have to, I wanted to tell you that, right? And then how will things change for you if you trusted spirit? So if you're getting that ride or die partner, right? So that person that is, that spirit, what would your life be like if you had 1000% like certainty that someone had your back, and then even if something didn't go right, you still had the faith, you had that trust, not faith, right? That they were still going to stand up for you. So what would that look like? Okay. And I like what Tara said, or breaking his leg stopped him from getting hit by a car. Yes. You know what I mean? It's just a fact, right? And then I'm more scared of not knowing spirit. Yes. But the more you get to know like what you truly believe in, you go down that spiritual path, then the more that you're going to be able to trust, because you understand how it works. Like, for example, when I have a time I watch like bad movies, The Conjuring, if you will, right? If I watch Ghost Adventures, right? Like I literally go through my process in my head of how that's happening, why that's happening. And it follows this structure. And then I tell my husband, I'm like, oh yes, this is totally realistic. You know what I mean? Yep, that's exactly what I said. In fact, not psychically, but just using my common spiritual sense, I can tell you what was going on. You know what I mean? Before they even tell me, you know what I mean? Like, oh, this is happening because so-and-so did this. Oh, this is happening because of this, because I had that spiritual common sense. I know it sounds so hard, but anyways, I've gotten to that point, and I can share that with you too, but that's going to take more time, right? And so then you're not afraid, because then you're like, okay, demons don't usually just come out of nowhere. You know what I mean? The scary stuff doesn't just, So I hope that makes sense, right? And the only thing I'm afraid of is that my grandpa comes to me in the shower. It freaked me out. Boundaries, Danette. How are your boundaries? Your past loved ones are going to uphold you uphold your boundaries. You know what I mean? So I say human time. I'm like, this is my human time. Get out of my damn space, right? So that's when I'm taking a shower, when I'm in my bedroom. You know what I mean? Whenever, like, get out, go. And by the way, too, I've had this experience, so I can tell you firsthand. I seen it with my own eyeballs. My eyes were open, where I literally seen us the way that spirit sees us. And spirit doesn't really see our bodies. They see our energy. And it looks like the AOL guy. So if you know the AOL with the guy that's yellow or whatever like that. So, no. So, I told him to leave. Yeah, okay, but come back. Because you know why? In the shower, Danette, your mind is tamed, right? You're open to spirit communication, right? When else are you just chilling, right? That's a time that you were receptive. So he was taking his in while he had it, right? And so, yes, thank God they don't see you. They don't see your body, right? And even hearing these things scare me. Yes. But the thing is, that's probably because of like pessimistic thinking. That's because you're thinking of the negative. You know what I mean? Just remember, there's negative, there's positive, there's light, there's dark. You know what I mean? And looking back on your past experiences, right? Have you ever had that experience with something that's bad? Probably not. It's not going to happen, right? Especially the more and more you get into the light, then they're not attracted to you, right? Anything bad is not attracted to the light. They like things that are bad, like attracts like, if you will. Yes. Okay. If they see as light, can they still see the emotions? Yes, because your energy is changing, your vibration is changing, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like literally the lower the emotion that you have, the lower you vibrate. And we actually go over this. I keep on saying about in the course, but seriously, it's one of the things that talks about the emotional scale. I'm still going to answer your questions and stuff like that, and we can still talk. But I kind of wanted to show you guys this because someone signed up and they were like, I have no idea what I signed up for, right? Let me see. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so incredibly funny. Okay. Let me see. Is it Chrome? Oh, here we go. Okay, I can't see you guys okay, there we go. They see us as light. Yes. Okay, that explains your childhood experience. Oh my gosh, so many of us are probably had so many connections in childhood, but we just don't even know it. Let me see if this works. No, I can't do that. Okay, I just want to show you this. This is like the course module. So this is first one, and it says right here, the emotional scale. So that's what we'll be talking about. It's like the energy and then the vibrations. So the lower your energy is, it's basically like the Esther Hicks scale, if you know her, but we're going to go into more details, right? And so the lower the vibration, so like grief, depression is really low. And that's going to be harder for them to contact us because if we're vibrating low and they're vibrating high, it's going to be harder for them to meet in the middle, right? Which is another reason why that when we're grieving, it's hard for us to contact them, right? Because we're vibrating so low. Okay. Let me see. Yes. Okay. And then I'm just going to go over this really, really quick. And then you keep asking your questions in the comments and stuff like that. But just for some of you that were like, I don't know what I signed up for. What's going on? So this is 9 modules. And basically it's 9 weeks long. Each one of these modules will be released on it's going to start July 19th. But then after that, it's going to be every Wednesday. Module 1, you're going to have 2 weeks to set up, right? And so your sacred soul contract, spiritual world inventory. So that's where we talk about all of the terms and everything else that you need to know about the spiritual world, right? The higher power meaning to you. Basically, feng shui, your life is not really feng shui. It's going to be getting into your mental state, right? Which also is kind of going to be talking about a little bit of those fears that you have, right? Module 2 is going to be talking about spiritual beings in a human world. And what I love about this is not just about the law of free will, but if you understand the laws that other entities have to abide by, it's going to help decrease that fear as well, right? And then we're also going to be talking a lot about like energy, understanding it, understanding the laws of the universe, understanding the laws of, the human side, the laws of spirituality, right? And if you want to, I will be talking to you about auras, how to see them, that kind of thing too. Because like for me, when I first started, it was like I needed something tangible. Like I needed to see it. You know what I mean? I was like, okay, that's great that I'm getting visions and stuff like that, but I want to actually see something. And so I practiced and I trained myself to see auras, and I tell you what, it's so freaking cool, right? And Danette saying, I was up a mountain and in the bathroom, I looked in the mirror and saw a man standing there, the three priests bowing to. Oh my gosh, I ran out of the house. So Danette, was that your grandpa or is it someone else? Is that like, that'd be crazy if it was someone else, right? Okay, and the intuitive connection. So this is where we start going into, your intuition, ego versus intuition, right? How to get set up in your body for it, right? Like for communication. And then divination tools, if you want to try them out, more details about trusting what you're getting, right? Getting more deeper into it, more deeper into the clairs, you know what I mean? And the chords, more about the ego. And that's where we're really going to start practicing as well. You know what I mean? We're going to practice intuitive connection because there's also the psychic connection. So that's module 4. And module 5 is mediumship too, right? So now this doesn't have to be like you doing readings. It could be you connecting to your own past loved ones, right? Okay. Oh yeah, you guys, I totally forgot. Let me just finish up here and then I'll do the giveaways. Okay. All right. So yeah, the psychic stuff that you need to know here, the mediumship here, and this is going to be different than the class. So if you took the class, this is going to be different because we're going to go into, the blending with spirit too in the advanced module, you know what I mean? But we're also going to be talking about like how you personally communicate in mediumship. This is more than just like that hour class that I was able to give you. And then we're also going to talk about, obviously, automatic writing. Yeah, that kind of stuff, advanced communication. This is where I think this is where we talk about the blending to deepening stuff, right? Rescue mediums, which is awesome, which is going to help you totally understand about your fears too, right? Almost done, guys. The spiritual life, this is how I integrate it into my life. If you want to do professional readings, you got it. But if not, then this is how you can also help your family and friends out and then also give yourself readings. This is the live coaching calls every Monday at 6 p.m. starting August 2nd, okay? This is Psychics Anonymous, right? It's not out yet, all right? I'm going to work with the people who take this course to figure out how they want, what days they want to meet for Psychics Anonymous, and it's going to be more like a psychic development circle, okay? And it's free for anyone who signs up for the course. If you don't do the course, but you still want to do this, I'll let you know later on how much it is and things like that. You also have a Facebook community. So you know how we love commenting and stuff like that. It's not going to be the Rising to Your Power group. It's going to be more intimate. And then I'll be working with you guys a lot inside of there. And then, of course, we're going to have a graduation mixer. So it's going to be a lot of fun. You're going to have a certificate of completion. It's just going to be really great. And there was something else that I wanted to say. Oh, yeah. So that's the price right now, right into July 1st. Okay. But there's one more thing. Oh, yeah. You can add on working with me on Voxer support. I think I already talked about that. But, oh, yeah. I don't know where it is, but whatever. It is 30 days money back. So if you guys don't like it, you guys can work. You can do the course for 30 days. If you don't like it, if you're not learning, that kind of thing, right? Now I sound like a salesman, but I wanted to let you know because I thought it was really funny because I think I let you guys go too early yesterday, and there's so many questions and people are like, okay, I just bought it. I don't know. Okay. Yes. Oh my gosh. And then what is it about? Oh yeah, but I still have the top 10 people, the first 10 people to sign up for the course will get a free coaching session with me and then free Voxer support. So Voxer is that app, and then you can contact me anytime throughout the course. I'll get back to you within 24 hours for the first 10 people. So, but people are already filling up. So I think I do have a few spots left open still. So I just wanted to let you guys know about that. Do we possibly learn about exit points? A little bit. So did you learn about exit points with Sylvia Brown or someone else? So exit points are the parts we do learn about exit points because we're going to be talking about soul contracts, and soul contracts go with exit points. So exit points is a theory in which you can leave. You can sign out. It's like you're creating like a blueprint, and then you can say, okay, you know what? You get in a car accident when you're 16, maybe it's something that is like in stone for you, that is like in stone. Not everything's in stone, right? It's kind of fluid, right? And then you can make that the car accident. You can take your exit point and you can be like, okay, I actually leave then, or no, the car accident is just going to be where I'm injured. You know what I mean? And you had that free choice and that free will. So yeah, we do go over that a little bit because we're talking about the soul contracts, right? Okay. Oh my gosh. And you've seen your dad in your mind's eye. You miss him so much. I know, but isn't that amazing to let him know that you're here? And to me, it's that darn Hollywood that's making it seem worse than it is. You know what I mean? Death is not what it is. It's like we are dreaming. We are in the dream. They are home. It's so crazy. It's like, thank you, Dad. Show me more. Be with me more. But the fact that you've seen him says that you're open, right? So talk back to him, being like, hey, What now, Dad? Right? I'm worried I couldn't do the meetups, and that seems like an important component. Oh no, you'll have like the replays too. And you think about it, it's 9 weeks. It starts in August. So you talk about August, September. You know what I mean? That kind of thing, right? But no, Lisa, it's like kind of like this, and then yeah, you'll be 100% okay. And then you know me, I'm right here with you if you have any questions or something like that. You sound like a saleswoman. Thank you, Michael. Saleswoman. I passed 2 exit points. See, the matrix is real. You guys are getting deep. I love this. You know what I mean? Oh yeah. So let me do this. Okay. So email one's going to be separately, but I'll tell you what, I actually already drew them. So let me see who it is. Okay. I had the names written down here. Okay. All right. Drum roll. Wait. I did not do the one for the free reading, but I did the one for the 2 free accesses to the course. So drum roll, the first one, and this is me connecting to spirit and saying who needs it the most. And I swear to gosh, I'm not making this up. It is Colleen. Yay, Colleen! And let me do this so I can get the free reading one. But so Colleen, I'm so happy you're going to be stuck with me for a little while. Okay. Okay, there we go. Oh my God, this is so cool, you guys. Okay, so Colleen's one, and the second one is Shauna. Yay, that is so freaking awesome. And Shauna, I think we were just talking about this. Oh my gosh. And so I did that. Now the winner of the free reading is, and I'm not making this up, I have a random number generator, and I have everyone's things down here that did the homework. Is the free reading is J. So yay! Isn't that so freaking awesome? I'm so excited. Okay. So now I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to put the word search binder thing that you guys can have fun with in the Rise into Power group, along with the other homework. Get it done by tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be freaking epic and awesome with more prizes. And then I'll be sending that email over. And so just send me your email address if you haven't been getting them, and I'll add it to you guys. Okay? I love you guys. Yes, congratulations, Shauna. Your manifesting works. See, isn't that freaking amazing? I love it. It's so awesome. Oh, hey, Meg, I didn't see your, it's so awesome to see you. Yes, you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you guys later. All right, bye.